This is Thomas Feng with Bay Area Connect. This week we have Joe Lima with us again from Princeton Capital to talk a little bit about loans. How are you doing, Joe?
Pretty good, Thomas. Thanks for having me.
Great, great. So a really big product that we've been hearing about for loans are FHA loans. Can you tell us a little bit about these?
Yeah, no problem. FHA is hot right now for basically the first-time home buyer. It's pretty much what the advantages are. FHA is backed by it's a government-backed loan, backed by HUD, enabling borrowers to put in a low down payment in order to get into their first home.
Okay, great description. Can you tell us a little bit about the features of an FHA loan?
Yeah, no problem. The main feature is going to be the low down payment, like I said before. 3.5% down, it would be the minimal down payment needed for an FHA loan. You can go, a typical conventional loan is going to ask for 20% down, so anything less than 20% down is going to be something where FHA would help.
Right.
Also, loan limit, it goes up to $729,750, so it's a big range there. So typically for, I keep saying first time home buyer, but for any buyer that's looking to get into a home that needs to go through FHA, it's a big enough loan limit to enable them to buy something in the Saratoga area.
Right. Well, like you said, the 3.5% down is definitely a huge benefit when compared to conventional loans that require 20%. If for a lot of first-time home buyers, the range is about $450,000 to $500,000. If they were to put down 3.5%, roughly where would that be per month?
Yeah, well, hypothetically, let's go off of a $450,000 purchase price. They're putting 3.5% down towards that purchase. Their monthly mortgage payment with principal, interest, hazard insurance, property taxes, and mortgage insurance is going to come out to right around $2,800. Still less than $3,000 bucks.
Right.
Typically, right around the area that they're paying for rent right now.
Okay, so if a first-time home buyer was looking for a home with a FHA loan, they would be paying something reflective of their normal rent.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay,
right around
that's
there.
really good to know. Let's talk about some of the FHA loan.
Okay. Well, with every advantage comes some disadvantages. We'll get into that in a little bit. But some advantages of FHA, it does allow for 100% gift towards the down payment. And when I say gift, I mean an aunt and uncle, mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, brother, sister. Anyone can give the borrower their down payment money. And it doesn't hurt in any way, shape, or form as far as qualifying for that.
Okay.
Also, it does involve, or it does allow for co-borrowers, meaning that if someone needs to co-sign on the loan and doesn't necessarily want to live there, or is going to live at the property, they can still help in qualifying with their income as well as their income, assets, and their debt as well. But they'll still be able to help qualify.
Right.
Another big advantage is the income restrictions on FHA loans are looser than a conventional loan. So if someone is right on the edge of qualifying for a conventional loan and income is not necessarily there, we can switch up to an FHA loan to get them to qualify as well. Right.
Okay, just to go over a little bit of the advantages that you were talking about. Gifts are allowed on FHA loans, and those could be from anyone. They do allow for a non-occupant borrower to help co-sign and to help qualify.
Yep.
And there's also looser income restrictions on that?
Compared to conventional loans, correct.
Okay, compared to conventional.
That's all on top of the less than 20% towards the down payment.
Okay, right. Well, those are some great FHA. Let's talk a little about the disadvantages.
Well, like I said, you can't always have your cake and eat it too, so there are some disadvantages. FHA does require mortgage insurance as part of a monthly payment and an upfront cost.
Okay. Okay.
The monthly mortgage insurance payment on a typical FHA loan is going to be around $150 to $160 added on top of the taxes, insurance, and the principal and interest payment.
Right.
And that's right around, like I said, the $2,800 out the door. It's going to be all-inclusive in that.
Okay.
There's also an upfront of 1.75% of the purchase, of the loan amount. So that is typically rolled into the loan amount too, so there's no upfront cost for that, but it would be a disadvantage to have that rolled in.
Okay. So to go over
compared
a couple...
to conventional.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So compared to a couple, the disadvantages to the advantages, the disadvantages are that a FHA loan often requires private mortgage insurance, and this is due to the fact that the down payment is usually less than 20%, and also a 1.75% of the loan amount that's rolled into the payments. While we're on the subject of Advantages, about the homebuyer tax credit that is coming to a close very soon.
That's right. It's coming up at the end of April. You have to be in contract by the end of April and close your purchase out by the end of July, which should not be a problem if you're in there at the end of April.
Right.
What it does is going to offer $8,000 towards that first-time homebuyer as a tax credit. So if they were to receive money back from the government, they're going to receive an extra $8,000 back. If they were to have to pay the IRS for their taxes, they would receive that $8,000 credit towards whatever payment they need to make.
Right.
There are some income restrictions that apply on there, but you can contact us and we can be more than happy to answer any further questions that you have with that.
Okay, that's really cool. Just to reiterate that, you need to be in contract by the end of April and close escrow by the end of June? Okay, sounds good. And that's a $8,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers and up to $6,500 for those moving, correct?
That's correct. So also, with wrapping in that first-time homebuyer tax credit, on an FHA loan too, one of the other advantages is the seller can pay up to 6% of the purchase price towards closing costs.
The seller?
Yeah, the seller. So if you find a property with a motivated seller, they're paying the 6% of the purchase price towards closing costs. The buyer's getting a gift from a relative. They're pretty much walking into the house with no money out of their pocket.
Plus the tax credit.
Plus the tax credit, too.
Okay. Well, that's really cool. Thanks again, Joe, for talking with us a little about loans this week. If you have any questions, please leave a comment under the video, or feel free to shoot me an email at thomas.feng@cbnorcal.com. Well, that's it for this week's video. Please tune in next week. To Bay Area Connect to learn a little